Today we'll focus more on energy angle. What are the energy terms involved in flow of charge or flow of current in a circuit? And in fact, if you recall, Kirchhoff law, the loop rule also is an energy rule. So again, just to have a recap and see some part of understanding of Kirchhoff loop rule is relevant for the rest of the topic what we are going to do with. If you recall Kirchhoff loop rule, what does it say? As we traverse a loop, the algebraic sum of all changes in potential is zero. Okay, and any point can be taken as a starting point. We can traverse the loop in clockwise direction, anti-clockwise direction, but we should reach the same starting point. Potential drop, this important. I think the sign all of you should, whether this Kirchhoff loop rule, all of you should be so practice so well that you should not go wrong in application of Kirchhoff loop rule. Potential drop is taken as negative and increase is taken as positive. Battery, when we move from negative terminal to positive terminal, we take positive sign, and resistance is positive when we move against the direction of current. And this is the example what we had taken last time. And I hope all of you recall how to apply Kirchhoff loop rule. If I start from point A and I traverse in the clockwise sense, first term here, see this something again, just a recap of Kirchhoff loop rule, because this week we are going to use Kirchhoff loop rule again and again, and next week as well. As we go from A, I am moving in the clockwise direction. As I move from A to B, I am moving along the direction of current. When we move along the direction of current, and when we cross a resistance, minus sign. The first thing we should put a sign here, then this value I1, R1. Then after this, I cross this point here. When I move from B to C, again I'm moving along the direction of current. So again, as we cross the resistance, the sign of the term will be negative. Similarly, now when I move from C to E, we cross a battery from negative to positive terminal. When I go from negative to positive, potential increases, hence the positive sign. And as we go further, again in this case, the direction in which we are traveling and the direction of flow of current, both are same direction. Hence again the negative sign, minus I3, R3. And then we go, as we go the fourth side, the direction of current is downwards. We are traversing in the upward direction. That's why this term, when we cross the resistance, positive sign, plus I4, R4. And then we cross the battery from positive to negative, hence the negative sign. And we equate it to zero. That's why I apply Kirchhoff loop rule. And in the, so this indicates how, if the charge is traveling. See, what are we doing here in Kirchhoff loop rule? We are assuming that we are traveling with the charge, and we are checking the energy level at different points. Which energy? Potential energy level. So it's an indication of how the potential level, energy level changes as we traverse the loop at different points. And the fact that we equate to zero, when we come back to the same point, it is in conformance with the properties of conservative force. That work done in a loop is zero. So when we come back to, so net change in potential is, or sorry, it is in conformance with the property of potential energy. Potential energy does not depend on the path. So whichever path we choose, it comes. Yes, Ashay.
Sir, in such questions, the direction of current will already be given to us, right?
Nee, see, we'll see some question. I think I mentioned earlier, and you should always keep in mind. Many questions we start marking with current distribution. And sometimes it's not possible to guess, and there's no need to guess. All we need to do, we distribute the current in accordance with junction rule. After distribution of current, we apply the equation as per the sign convention we assumed. So if it is not given, you have to assume it, and you have to solve question based on assumption. What will happen if your direction of current, what you assumed was not correct? The final answer will come as negative. So you don't have to necessarily guess it right. All you need to do, you need to make an assumption, and you need to follow the assumption properly when you apply the equation. We'll see some of those applications. Okay. Now energy term. Let's let them what is happening to energy as it flows through the circuit. So we are moving, so let's say we are moving in the direction of current flow. This is something like a series circuit. What will happen, let's say, assume, what will happen as the charge moves from the negative terminal to positive terminal? What happens to its potential energy of charge as it moves from negative terminal to positive terminal? Its potential energy increases by V. So if a unit charge, what is energy it will gain? A unit charge will gain energy equal to V. Charge Q, when it moves from negative terminal to positive terminal battery, it will give energy equal to Q. So when we talk about unit energy, potential energy charge increases as it moves from negative terminal to positive terminal. So it has moved from here to here. As it moved from here to here, it has gained energy. So from here to here, so if the energy level, so if I draw the energy level it has gained. So it has gained so much of energy. Then what happens as it charges in the circuit, it keeps moving from here. When we show a circuit like this, what we assume, this part, the resistance is negligible compared to these resistances. If the resistance is negligible, it doesn't lose any energy, potential remains constant. So as the charge moves from this point to point A, will its potential energy change? Potential energy will not change. So potential energy changes only when it crosses resistance. We'll try and understand what happens. So P decreases as it passes through a resistor. There's a loss of potential energy. Okay. So what we understand from here, one way to view this one, here it gains energy, it loses energy. So we can think of any circuit, battery being the source of energy and resistor being the part of the circuit where consumption of energy takes place. That's why the whole circuit it evens out. Battery being the source, resistance being the source of consumption of energy. The reason for loss of energy as the current flows in the resistor, and which form does it change to? These are two things we try to understand. So what we understand is potential changes. What is the reason for loss? And if the loss of energy gets lost, energy is never lost, it gets converted to some other form. The second thing we'll try to understand, if potential energy is lost, it means it must be getting converted in some other form. What is the other form it is getting converted to? This is what we'll try and understand today. Okay, let's see in this case. Free electrons, what happens? So we understand in terms of free electron. Free electrons, because of potential difference, they get accelerated. Accelerated means they gain kinetic energy. But whatever kinetic energy they gain, when they collide with the lattice ion, what happens to kinetic energy? What they gain? Again, they lose entire kinetic energy in the collision. Where does the kinetic energy go when it collides with the lattice ion? The kinetic energy of the free electron get transferred to the ion or the atom. Okay. And the atom, since they cannot have, what form of kinetic energy atom will have? Atom cannot have translation motion, or ions can have vibrational motion. So because of collision of free electron, the electron, whatever kinetic energy they have gained, that gets transferred to the ion, and as ions gain more energy, their oscillation energy increases, or temperature of the resistor increases. So which form the energy gets transferred to? First, potential energy gets transferred in form of kinetic energy of electron, and then kinetic energy gets transferred in terms of kinetic energy of ion, which is in form of a heat energy. So ultimately, the loss of potential energy reflects in form of heat energy, and we call as a dissipation of heat. We use the term dissipation. Dissipation indicates loss of energy. Let's say what is happening in terms of equation. Let's consider a time interval delta t. In time interval delta t, what is the charge which will enter at point A? Let's say this is the entry point of the resistance point. Since if the current is I, the charge which will enter in time delta t will be equal to I delta t. That's the delta q equal to. And during the same time, so what is the potential energy of the charge which is entering here? The potential energy is equal to charge into the potential at the point. So potential energy of charge entering the resistor in time delta t is equal to potential into charge. I'm just using the formula Q into potential. The same interval, how much is charge leaving point B? In case of a steady state, this charge also, the same charge will leave. Whatever charge enters in time delta t, same charge will leave because there's no accumulation of charge in the resistor. So what is the potential energy of charge leaving the resistor? What is the potential energy of charge leaving the resistor at B? VB into I delta t. So what is happening in time interval delta t? I find this as a energy. So what is the loss of potential energy? So if I look in terms of, if I look at the whole resistor, what I find in time delta t, the energy which is coming in is greater than energy which is going out. So what is the loss of energy? Energy entering minus the energy going out. The loss of energy, if I take the difference, is equal to VA minus VB into I delta T. What is VA minus VB? Is the potential difference across the resistor for which you use the convention V. So loss of potential energy in time delta T across the resistance is equal to IV delta T. Or is there any change in kinetic energy here? Is the kinetic energy of electrons at A any different than kinetic energy at B?
No, the current is
Same.
same. So.
Its kinetic energy is same, and so there's no change in kinetic energy. So what has happened to entire potential energy loss? So loss of potential energy per unit time. So if I divide by per unit time, that becomes power. So loss of power consumed in the resistor is same as loss of potential energy per unit time, which is equal to I into V. And we know the three terms are related. So whenever current flows through a resistor, there are three terms: current, voltage, and resistance. So it is all three are related. So power I can write in terms of IV. It can be written in V can be substituted as V is equal to IR. It is I square R. Or I can substitute I is equal to V by R is equal to V square by R. So and power consumption, which is the loss of potential energy in a unit time. These are the terms. And what is the power supplied by the battery during this same time interval? The power supplied by the battery also is equal to IV. So whatever energy has been supplied, if there's only one battery and one resistor, what will happen? The power supplied to the battery is equal to power consumed in the resistor, and that will be equal to rate at which heat is generated in the resistor. Power consumption is equal to rate at which the heat is generated in the heat is dissipated in the resistor, or heat is generated in the resistor is also called Joule heating. So what is Joule heating? Joule heating is something the rate at which heat is being generated in the resistor. Joule heating. That's the heating effect of.
Even the resistance should change, right?
Yeah, ideally what should happen if we take in account if alpha is significant. What does alpha signify here? Temperature coefficient of resistance. If alpha is not close to 0, what will happen as it keeps heating, its resistance also will change. But you tell me one thing. Okay, since you did this question, suppose like a bulb. So do you think the temperature of a filament or temperature of the resistance, suppose this resistance, will the temperature of this resistance keep rising if a delta theta? Theta indicates temperature. If the current is flowing through the resistor, will the temperature of the resistor will keep rising?
No, sir. It will reach a point.
Why? Why after some time what will happen? See, it is constantly receiving heat energy. If it is something, it is equivalent to flow of current is equivalent to heating the resistor. Is it not? Flow of current is equivalent to supplying the heat. We are constantly heating it. So then why would temperature not keep rising then? Can you think of reason why?
Because
Why
the
the
heat may
temperature
be
not
dissipated into the surroundings.
So what will happen after some time as the temperature resistance keep rising, the rate at which energy is radiated also will keep on rising. At some time what will happen? The rate of radiation of heat is equal to rate at which heat energy is being supplied. It will reach a steady state. So finally, if I have a resistor connected to circuit, if room temperature was say about 30 degrees centigrade, perhaps it may reach a temperature of 150 degree or whatever. After that time, it will remain at constant in that temperature. So whenever we talk about electrical appliances, suppose it's a bulb. So if I calculate resistance of the bulb, should I calculate resistance at 30 degree or should I calculate resistance at 150 degree? If I'm going to use that bulb.
30.
Bulb is also resistor. So when I use as an engineer, I have to take the resistance at 150 degree, because that's the temperature at which the bulb will be operating. Okay. So this is a finer point. It normally doesn't come in terms of numericals in terms of examination, but it's a good point to understand. Akash, have you understood what point is saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So alpha, yes, point is valid. What will happen? Will the resistance will keep changing? But in steady state, it will have a constant value resistance. We are talking about which state? Steady state. In steady state, what happens? Yes, resistance also temperature is constant. Whatever rate at which heat is being supplied, it is being radiated in the same way. Nitya, have you followed this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this what will happen. We all the time we talk of steady state. So loss of potential energy gets converted in form of oscillatory energy of lattice ion, resulting in increase in temperature called Joule heating. That's a summary of what we discussed. It does it make sense? Loss of potential energy. As the current flows, it losing potential energy. Loss of get current, where does it energy go? First to electrons and then into lattice ion in terms of oscillation energy. Because they cannot have transmission kinetic energy. And that results in increase in temperature, as is called Joule heating. And at times the temperature remains constant because of rate of radiation also remains. So let's look at. So what we understood so far, power consumption in a resistance can be written in 4 terms: IB, V square by R, I square R. Let's see what happens if 3 resistors are connected in series. What is power consumption in each of the resistor and what is the total power consumption? Can we easily calculate? They are very simple. We can easily understand those terms. So in this case, 3 resistors R1, R2, R3 are connected in series. Current is same in all 3 resistors, which will be equal to I is equal to V by equivalent resistance. That's the current flowing in all 3 resistors. What is the power consumption? Now, in this case, why I'm using formula I square R? Power consumption. Because, see, the I term is same. What is changing? Resistance is changing. So, there are 3 formula. Among the 3 formula, which is more relevant, if you pick up the right one, it makes things easier. If there are 3 terms involved, I, V, and R, if among 3, in different situation, any of those 3 is constant, make use of the term which is constant. In this particular case, what I find, all 3 resistance I is constant. It makes it easy to understand. Same current is flowing, so power consumption in first resistance is I square R1, I square R2, I square R3. This makes it a little easier to understand. So what I notice here, if 3 resistances are connected in series, power consumption is in proportion to resistance. Whichever resistance is more will have greater power consumption. The one which has low resistance will have lower power consumption in the same proportion. So easy. And what will be the power which will be supplied by the battery? So if I add all 3 up, this is the power consumption all 3 resistance. That will be equal to power supplied by the battery, which is equal to I into V. If you calculate, you'll find both terms will come same. I will be equal to sum of these 3. So power consumption is proportional to resistance when they're connected in series. What happens when they're connected in parallel? Let's calculate power consumption and how would power consumption depend on resistance. In this case, what is common here when they're connected in parallel?
Potential is common.
So what we noticed, previous case current was same. So now in this case, for resistors connected in parallel, first thing what we notice, voltage is same in all 3 resistors, which is equal to V. Whatever V is there, same V is there in all cases. Which form I write power consumption? I write power consumption in place of V square R. I could have written this term as I1, this term as I2, and so on and so forth. I could have written power as I1 square R1. But when I write I1 square I1,
but both current and resistance are there.
Both are there. So I don't know what is happening. But when I write in this form, this was easier. Now I find there's only one thing which is varying. So what I notice here, which one is having more power consumption? Power consumption is inversely proportional to resistor when they're connected in parallel. So when you think of household supply, household also we connect we have a fan connected, we have a tube light connected, we have a refrigerator connected. Are they all connected in parallel or are they connected in series?
Parallel only, sir.
All are connected to same potential difference. When we have plug socket, the potential difference between the 2 points of the socket is same. They are all connected in parallel. So all electrical appliances at home are connected in parallel. So which will have, and every appliance what you had home, if you look at this, it will have some rating, something written. Its rating will be there. Some amperes will be written, and something like power also will be written. You know, bulb is something 60 watt bulb. When you go LED bulb is 6 watt bulb. What does that indicate? What does 6 watt indicate? That means if I connect that bulb across a home supply, which is in the range of 220 volts to 240 volts, it can keep changing. When you connect it to a 240 volt, it will consume a power of 6 watts. Okay. So one which has higher power consumption will have lower resistance or higher resistance. Suppose a bulb. Huh?
Higher resistance.
Actually, lower resistance consumes higher
Inversely
power.
proportional.
Yeah. So what I need to lower resistance consumes higher power. So suppose we take a geyser. Geyser may have a rating of 1.5 kilowatts. 1.5 kilowatts, so high power. So what kind of resistance geyser has? Does it have high resistance or low resistance? It has low resistance. Resistance is low, what will happen? Current flowing in the geyser will be high. Are you following this point?
Yes,
What
sir.
are you saying? So what will happen? We have two different appliances. One is 100 watts, other is 1000 watts. Which will have more resistance between 100 watts and 1000 watts? 100 watts will have more resistance, 1000 watt will have less resistance. 1000 watt will have less resistance. But how is consuming more power? Current flowing is more. Current will flow. So in case of geyser, more value, higher current will flow. And that's why I notice some of this power point, the AC and all. The cable also is thicker. Why is the cable thicker in case of something like AC and all? Because current flowing through that wire also will be much higher compared to an appliance which consumes lower power. Okay, so what happens if I short? If I have a zero resistance connected? Then suppose you have 2 points, the two power points are there, and actually it's not a DC supply, but let's assume this home sub. I have 240 volts. There are two sockets are there. So what I understood, suppose I connect a resistance of close to zero. Will it have low power consumption or high power consumption? Just wait for a second. Okay, one by one, let me ask. Anish, will it have low power consumption or high power consumption if I connect a low resistance here?
High power.
High power. High power means will the heating be less or heating will be too much?
Heating will be
High power means what? Less heating, more
less.
heating. Huh?
Less, sir.
Come here, I'll hit on your head. If power is more, heating will be more. Power consumption is more. What is happening? Power, where is the energy going? It's going in form of heating. So if I connect, this is called shorting. You don't do it home. So what happens if I connect a conducting wire between positive terminal and positive negative terminal? This is called shorting. If you connect, what will happen? The wire may get very much heated up and wire may fuse. Wire may melt. Does it make sense? Why would the wire melt?
Yes, sir.
It makes some sense or not? That's what fuse wire does at home. Okay, so when we short, what will happen? Very heavy current will flow. Very high power consumption. Tremendous heating. It may lead to melting. Okay. Sai Shreya?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Are you getting a understanding of what happens to energy? What is power consumption in the resistance? In terms
Yes.
of power consumption is simple. You know, so in the how we are thinking now, as the current flow in the resistance, it loses potential energy. Where does the potential energy goes? It gets converted in form of heat energy. It is equivalent to heat being dissipated in the resistance. Loss of potential energy gets converted in form of heat energy, which is called rate of heat dissipation, which is power consumption. How much is that one? IB, I square R, V square by R. And we have seen if resistors are connected in series, this is what will happen. Simple application, and power consumption will be proportional to resistance. If the resistors are connected in parallel, we understood, yes, in that case, inversely proportional. So we have also saying we are trying to apply this understanding in terms of domestic appliances. So those domestic appliances which have higher power rating will actually have low resistance. They will draw more current in the circuit. They'll draw more current. Saisha, is making sense so far?
Yes, sir.
Shravani, making sense?
Yes, sir.
Good. So this is a very simple formula, and so okay. So power consumption resistance. What is the unit? When I use IV, suppose I write this one in terms of ampere, and this in terms of volt. So I can write what is unit? Ampere volts. Both are SI unit. Actually, the power comes equal to what you call as watt, which is equal to joules per second. So if I use SI unit, power consumption also in terms of watt in joules second, and many times watt and kilowatt. So that's the term we write. But you know, every month, whatever power we consume, power doesn't come free, energy doesn't come free. This is power. Now we look at when we pay electricity bill, it is based on energy consumption. So if power is P, what is the energy consumption? The power is energy consumed per unit time. So see, energy is okay. So this is the power is energy per unit time. So energy consumed is equal to power into delta T. So this power is in SI unit, delta T in second. This energy consumed in joules. But domestic energy consumption, we use this unit. What is this unit here? All are familiar with this unit? What is this called?
Kilowatt hour.
Kilowatt per hour.
No, so what is this first term? Kilowatt is unit of which term? Power. So power, which is the unit we are using? We are not using watt. We are using kilowatt. And this is for time. What is the unit we are? This unit uses for time, not seconds. It is using hours. This is a commonly used unit. So can we convert this unit of energy consumption into joules? We can do so. How do we
Yes,
convert?
sir.
I convert kilowatt into watts,
Watts and hours into seconds.
hours into second. That becomes into energy consumption in joules, which is equal to 3.6 into 10 to power 6. So energy consumption. So we'll do some questions on energy consumption, which is power into time. So if you have a, okay, and this is how we convert. It is simple. We don't have to memorize this formula. All we need to remember when we say 1 unit of power consumed, 1 unit is equivalent to 1 kilowatt hour. 1 kilowatt hour is equal to so many joules. Okay. So let's take some simple question. What is the number of units of power consumed if a 60 watt fan, most fans are in this range, 60 watt or so. If a 60 watt fan is used for 10 hours a day for a month, can we calculate number of units consumed? It's simple. Number of units what? Number of units, how do we calculate? I'll do for once. In case for when we calculate number of units, we write power rating in kilowatts. So here it is given in watts. What do you do? First, I convert the power rating into kilowatts. So what is power rating in kilowatts? I divide by 1000. So this is equal to 0.06 kilowatts. And time in number of hours of operation. What is number of hour operation? Because you understand that this unit is power in kilowatts, time is in hours. 10 hours a day for a month. So what is total number of hours of operation? 10 into 30 into 300. So what is the consumption of energy in terms of units kilowatt hour?
18.
Number of units consumed is 18. So fairly simple. Let's take one more example. If the power tariff, if suppose the rates are 8 rupees per unit consumed, then monthly bill for operation of this fan will be 18 into 8, 144 rupees. So what it means, I can estimate if I use a fan, a 60 watt fan for 10 hours a day, every day of the month, I'll consume 18 units of power. If government charges 8 rupees per unit. When you talk of per unit, I should understand what does unit mean. Unit means kilowatt hour. Power in terms of kilowatts and hours in terms of, or time in terms of hours. Simple. Okay.
Sir, if you have like a 2-pin appliance, like a plug with only 2 pins, either way we plug it in the board, it works, right? Even though it's like the potential difference will be different.
That's what okay, but see, we are taking a very simplistic view. Because supply at home, what we have is first of all not a DC supply. It's not a like battery. Okay, we'll come to that part later. Okay, see, some of the things what we did, we discuss initially with a simplistic view of the things. It's not a realistic view, but simplistic view understanding only leads to understanding of complex things. So supply what we have at home is AC current. It's not DC current. It's oscillating. So don't go into that for now. Okay. So let's look. Can we solve this question here? There are 5 tube lights, each of 40 watt in a house. This is the question. Can we easily solve this question, all of you? Please, similar way. What we have to keep in mind, what we need to calculate here, number of units. The number of units, how would I calculate? Number of units is energy, is product of power. Power must be written in kilowatts, hours of operation, or time of operation in hours. Can we calculate number of units here, all of you? A simple calculation.
Sir?
Yes?
Sir, if these appliances are connected in parallel or series, will the answer change?
But we don't, if we connect in series, it will not, see, suppose 5 fans you connect. in series. Will each fan give you same air?
No, the
No.
first one will give most.
I'll hit you on the head, not first one.
No, I mean it depends on
Same
the
current will flow.
resistance.
Yeah, all will give less work. So we are talking about they are being connected in the proper sense. They are all being connected in parallel. So how do we solve such question? They are all connected in parallel. We come to some question later. What happens when they connect in series? What is the rating of tube light? Rating of tube light in kilowatts, 5 tube lights, each one 40 by 1000. So that becomes equal to what? 0.2 kilowatts. Number of hours of operation, they are used on average of 5 hours per day. So total number of hours operation is 150. So number of units consumed is equal to kilowatt into number of hours of operation, which is equal to 30 units. Similarly, I'll calculate rating of immersion heater. Immersion heater is 1500 watt, which is also actually they are of this range, 1.5 kilowatts. Time of operation, average 1 hour per day for 30 days, 30 hours. So energy consumed is 45. So that's easy. So calculation of energy consumption is fairly straightforward, very simple. Shachi, are you have understood? Shachi?
Yes, sir.
Easy? Okay. Let's do some more. Okay, some more application. What happens other way? This is something, this is what typically when you buy a lamp, you may find something like this is written. This watts?
Yes, sir.
What does this indicate? This indicate you should connect across this kind of supply. Same bulb, if you take it to Germany or you take it to US, will the same bulb give you the same light?
No,
Why not?
it's 110 over there. No.
Yes, the voltage are different. So it will function properly only when it is connected to appropriate voltage. If voltage in a country, different countries are different, it doesn't behave in the same. Okay, so this is a lamp here. What we are connected, and we are not connected to 40 volt. It is connected to 240 volts. What is resistance? Can you calculate resistance based on this information? See, when we change the, rather than connecting to 240 volts, suppose I connect to 220 volt, will the resistance change?
Oh, sir.
Does resistance depend on voltage? Resistance does not depend on voltage. That's what Ohm's law means. Ohm's law says voltage, but this is resistance is independent of voltage. That's why V by I remains constant. Okay. So what is something we'll use is equal to V square by R formula. Power is given, and which we will use here. This value of power, see, what is the power here? This one is not given. This P2 is not given. This power is given. So when power is given at 240 volts, so when I use this as 600, I have to use voltage also as 240.
240, yes, sir.
Then I can calculate this resistance. Will it consume same? So will this lamp, if I connect across 220 volt, will it consume same power, less power, or more power? Don't answer, I'll ask some of you. So what is my question? This bulb, if I connect across a voltage of 240 volts, it gives me, it consumes 600 watts of power it consumes, and it gives that kind of brightness also. More is the power consumption, greater is the brightness for normal bulb. Okay. So if I connect across 220 volts, will it have same brightness, more brightness, less brightness, or nothing? Will the brightness be more? Will it be less? Will it be same, or no idea? Okay, so let me ask some of you. Anirudh S, what will happen if I connect? Anirudh?
Yes, sir.
What would happen? Well, you know, this is the power rating of the bulb which you get in the market. If I connect across 220 volts, what will happen to its brightness? What does it mean? Huh?
It will decrease.
Why? Very good. It will decrease is the correct answer. Why? Tell me why.
Less power is consumed.
Very good. So what are the assumption we are making? The brightness of the bulb depends on what? Proportional to power consumption. If power consumption goes down, the brightness also goes down in the same proportion. And why would the power consumption decrease? Because when I'm changing the voltage, voltage is changing, but resistance is not. So which formula I'll use? I'll use V square by R power. When voltage reduces, if voltage becomes half, actually power becomes 1/4. Have you seen at home these days? We don't notice, but if you have a bulb, sometimes the power supply voltage drops. What will happen? You notice the brightness of bulb also decreases. Have some of you noticed that one? Some of the older bulbs used to happen. Suddenly the power, sometimes the voltage will be very low. When the voltage is low, everything becomes dim.
Yes, sir.
That's the reason.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you would have all noticed that one. But these days we don't have those kind of bulbs. We have LED bulb, and a little bit of LED we'll study in case of semiconductor. Not too much in detail, but we'll get some idea about those. So what has happened earlier? The kind of brightness 100 watt bulb used to give. Now with 10 watt consumption, also LED bulb gives you same brightness. It becomes much more energy efficient. We'll see why it happens later on when we go to the topic of semiconductor. So ohmic resistance independent of voltage. We are ignoring what? We are ignoring the heating and resultant change in temperature of the resistance. That's the point we have to keep in mind. Arik, understood this point? What does this mean? Bhagishri? Second sentence, have you understood? What does second sentence imply here? See, okay, Bhagishri raised her hand. So raised her hand means, okay, she doesn't want to talk. Good. Okay. So what will happen? Both cases we are assuming resistance to be same. We are assuming the resistance to be same because we are ignoring the effect of heating and resultant change in temperature of the resistance. It may have some effect, but whenever such questions are there, we ignore that effect. Okay. Next question.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, in the previous question, when the lamp is connected to the 220 volt supply, the current flowing through it is more, right, sir? But still the power consumption is less.
But I think you have to bang your head on the table. Okay, let's see. What is not changing? Okay, what has happened? This is something like this. If I have to visualize this figure, it is something like this. First case, it is R here. And I can imagine this voltage was the initial case 240. Then second case, what is happening? Is the R changing? No.
No, sir.
What is changing?
The potential. So the current flowing through it should also change, right, sir?
Yes, current also will change. If this was I here earlier, will the current increase or decrease now?
Decrease.
The voltage has decreased.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so voltage will decrease, and that's why the power consumption will be less. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's go to the next one. And this is what bulb it is. The bulb is supposed to be used at 200 volts. What happens if we connect to 250 volts? What would its power consumption? Will the power consumption remain same? Can we calculate its power consumption? Akshat? Akshat?
Sir.
Can you calculate power consumption here, Akshat? See what it means? This says if I connect it to 200 volts supply, it will consume power of 200. What will happen if I connect to 250? How would you calculate action?
250 whole square by 200, I guess.
So first thing I feel every time if initially what is power equal to? Power can be written in three forms. IV is equal to. So power can be written as IV. What are other forms it can be written as action? I square R plus is equal to V square R.
Yes.
Which formula should I use here in this case?
V square R, I guess.
Because why V square by R? Because R is not changing. The same lamp. So what is P2 by P1? So if I look at this, that's what I think. First thing we need to choose which formula. I had to choose this one. Because R is not changing. That's what you have to keep in mind. If R is not changing, then what is P? P is inversely proportional to R.
Yes,
So P is proportional. P is directly proportional to V square. So P2 by P1 will equal to V2 square by V1 square. Very easy. We can easily calculate. P2 comes equal to 312.5. So what will happen actually? What may happen if we connect it to higher voltage? It will become more bright, no? Bulb will appear brighter.
Right.
But any problem you feel? Any problem with this? Do you think that there will be any problem with the connecting it to higher voltage supply?
No.
What may happen, more bright means what? It's getting more heated. And we normally assume anything which is designed for a particular voltage. If we connect at a higher voltage, it start getting more heated and it may fail. So when it becomes brighter, it becomes more heated and it may ultimately fail. So what do we assume? All equipments, they are rated to operate at a particular voltage. If I operate at lower voltage, it will consume less power, it may not perform efficiently. But we come to connect it across higher voltage, it will consume more power, it will get more heated and it will fail. Yes, that's the point we have to keep in mind. And theoretically, what we assume, if it is rated for 200, even if I connect to 201, I may think, okay, this is something
Going to fail.
or sometimes we, in case of this is something special type of fail, you know, but there's a physics fail and chemistry fail are different. So electricity fail is different. What we call it, it will fuse. What does fuse mean? If it has a resistance of wire, wire will melt. Extra heating will lead to its melting. That's what I call fuse mean. Yes, sir. Anybody has any questions so far? Right. So this is simple. Okay. It's an interesting question, very simple question, but interesting question. And this question has come in several exams also, similar kind of question. Try and think and answer this question. So just to make your, I hope all of you read the question, which bulb will fuse? What does fuse imply? Fuse imply if voltage difference exceeds its real voltage, it gets excessively heated and melts. That's called fuse. So what does fuse mean? Whenever V is greater than rated voltage, we assume it will fuse. So in this case, whichever bulb, these bulbs are rated, both are rated at 220 volts. So whichever bulb has a potential difference in excess of 220 volts will fail. The one which is have potential difference of less than 220 volts will have lesser brightness than what it is designed for. So do we have an answer for this? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, tell me what.
Sir, I found the resistances of both, and then the potential will be divided in the direct proportion of resistance.
So one way of dividing the potential finds the resistance. Okay, so there are a number of ways of solving. There are shorter ways, there are longer ways. So whichever bulb, so what our logic is, for whichever bulb the voltage exceeds 220 volts will fuse. Here the bulbs can be treated as resistor. Though it is bulb, what is bulb? Bulb is nothing but a resistance. How do you? This is bulb B1, this is bulb, sorry, I am not written properly. The second bulb is B2. Okay, so there are two bulbs, B1 and B2. And what is the voltage applied? We applied a potential difference of 440. I'll do in a slightly different way also. We can do normal way. So potential difference across bulb B1 is V1 and other is V2. What will be V1 plus V2 equal to?
440.
Of course,
440.
Yeah, so naturally, if two resistances are equal, both V1 and V2 would have been equal to 220, 220. Now, if the resistance is not equal, it means one of them will be greater than 220, one of them will be less than 220. Make sense? If two resistances are not equal, one of them will be greater than 220, one of them will be less than 220. It means only one will fail, both cannot fail. Are you clear? Which one will fail? So basically, say this is something. So one of V1 and V2 is greater than 220 Sorry, greater than 220, one is less than 220. Which will be greater than 220? The one which has higher resistance. Which has the higher resistance? Which has the lower rating? Lower power means higher resistance. So even without doing any calculation, I can tell which one is going to fuse. One with higher resistance. Which bulb will fuse? Okay, one with the higher resistance. And what is R equal to? P is equal to?
V square.
They're in the ratio 2:1.
Okay, yes. So but the which will have higher resistance? The resistance is higher when the power rating is low.
No, 4:1.
We can do that, or we can do the resistance calculation. I can do logic wise. Otherwise, what I will do, as Shashi was saying, we'll calculate the resistance. What is the resistance of first one? What is R1 equal to? V square by 25. What is V square here? We are talking about 220. V is equal to 220. Similarly, what is the rating of second one? R is equal to V square by P. R2 is equal to V square by 100. Okay. So what is R equivalent? Sum of these two. What is V1 equal to? V1 is equal to R1 divided by R1 plus R2 into V. Voltage will be in proportion of the resistance. So V1 will be equal to 4 by 5 into 440, which is 352. V2 will be equal to R2 divided by R1 plus R2, R equivalent. So that is 1 by 5 into 450, which is 88. So which one will fail? Naturally, this one will fail. Tejas?
Yes, sir.
Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
The ratio, everything. Grishma?
Sir.
Kartikeya?
Yes, sir.
Kartikeya, last test you also not done too well. Concentrate better. Kevin, is it understood?
Yes, sir, I understood.
Easy.
Yes.
So this is something I understood both ways. Is it possible to find out which bulb will fuse without doing calculation? Yes, it is possible. Try to think in that fashion. Otherwise, I can step by step with calculation also I can figure out which one will fail. Both ways you should understand. This question, these are all simple questions. Let's go through one by one. So far, what are we doing? We are just using one formula with some application of mind. Formula is one simple formula. Power is equal to IV, V square by R, I square R. Based on that, let's quickly solve. This should not take more than a minute. Okay. So equal resistance, let's assume that each resistance is R. And voltage applied B. Voltage and EMF are something similar. We see the difference in EMF voltage tomorrow. Voltage is equal to V. So when three equal resistors are connected in series, so for what we write here, voltage same. What I notice here, which formula I'm going to use? Same EMF. So EMF is not changing, resistance is changing. So I'm going to use the formula V square by R. First part is clear. I have to choose which formula, V square by R. When it's connected in series, resistance series equal to 3R. And when connected in parallel, resistance equal to R by 3. So if I have to find ratio, what is power in parallel and power in series? Power is inversely proportional to resistance. So PP by PS is equal to RS by RP. So if I substitute these values, I find it will come equal to 90 watts. And it makes sense, same voltage, if the resistance decreases, power consumption increases. Resistance is decreasing by factor of 9, hence the power consumption is increasing by power of 9. So I can intuitively think also why it is happening. Disha?
Yes, sir.
Easy?
Yes, sir.
No, these are not difficult questions. And if you ask people who are in the senior batch also, every time when they ask them, they always say they don't have any doubt in the second year syllabus. Second year syllabus, many people find much easier compared to first year. So even those who had little difficulty in first year, second year, if you concentrate, second year physics is easier. You talk to anybody. I don't know, some of you might have your friends. When I talk to them, say second year, they find much easier. So if you pay attention, these are not very difficult things. And if you practice well, you'll find it much easy to deal with, and we can score better. We'll be able to understand faster, and we should be able to retain in our mind longer. Okay. What is the time taken by this heater to heat 1 liter of water from 10 degrees centigrade to 40 degrees centigrade? It's like a geyser. What we are assuming here, this heater, see, even though it is not mentioned, what is implied, what is assumption you have to make? I have to make an assumption, efficiency is 100%. This means whatever electrical energy is consuming, entire electrical energy is getting converted into heat energy. So whenever something is not given, what are you assuming? Entire electrical energy consumed gets converted in form of heat energy. So can we calculate time taken? If you recall this question a little bit of from heat and thermodynamics, what is based on? You know,
MS delta T.
Q is equal to MC?
Delta T.
Delta T.
What is Q here? Energy heat supplied. What is the heat supplied? Heat supplied in time delta T is power into delta T. Right? But both the sides units should be same. This side also, if I use joules, this also should be in joules. But problem is, many times, what is the formula we use? We use a specific capacity for water. We use C is equal to 1 calorie per gram degree centigrade. This in calorie. So whenever we have this kind of conversion, whenever MC delta T is required, conversion of unit is important. Let's see how do we do that conversion. Power consumption by heater into time gives you heat dissipation. And heat dissipated, entire this power consumed is getting converted into Q. Q is equal to, and we equate Q is equal to MC delta T. What we are doing here, what is Q here? What is mass here? See, when we use C is equal to this, see, when you use this equation, MC delta T, if C is calorie per gram per degree centigrade, mass has to be in grams. So, if it is 1 liter of water, I have taken the mass to be 1 liter of water will be 1 kg. So 1000 grams is the mass. This is C term. Change in temperature is 30. So heat energy to be given to water is equal to 30,000 calories. Any problem so far? This is heat. We have calculated delta Q. But this in calorie. I convert into joules. How do I convert into joules? By multiplying by 4.18. See, sometimes we take either 4.18 or 4.2. Why I have taken 4.18? Why I have not taken 4.2?
Sir, because
yeah, this number also looks like that.
Divisible.
So as I have taken 4.18. So Q is equal to 4.18. This is the heat which need to be supplied for raising the temperature of 1 kg of water from 10 degree to 40 degree. Now we say to power supply. What is the heat supplied? This is in joules. Let's say the time taken, time is T in seconds. The heat supplied will be equal to 836 power into time T in seconds. This we equate, we find T is equal to 150 seconds. Is this understood? Pranav? Pranav Ganga? Pranav, have you understood? Khyati?
Yes, sir.
Units, are you clear? How to convert units?
Yes, sir.
Meghna? Kartikeya?
Yes, sir.
Akul? Akul Mishra?
Yes, sir. Yes, sorry.
You didn't write last test, no?
No, my
Why?
laptop broke down.
Okay, okay. Are you clear about units and all? Because you need to be a little careful because this kind of questions are common. Because we have to always remember whenever I use this term, this gives you a calorie because these units are more convenient. And calorie will multiply by 4.18 to get into joules. Then we both side units are same and we can substitute. I hope this point is clear so we can easily apply. Okay. Let's go to next one. This is also similar question. So if you understood, all of you should be able to form the equation and get an answer. If you recall this equation, only thing what happened here, now resistance is, we have to find the resistance. When you have to find the resistance in place of P, we'll substitute V square by R into time in seconds has to be equal to, I think we'll put not 4.8, we can take 4.2. And see. Let's put this value, that's this equation. That's a condition. That's what you need to formulate the equation. So power consumption of heater into T is equal to heat dissipated. So this equation we write here. We calculate this term in calorie first. We calculate this term in calorie. MC delta T, mass is 1500 into 1. Delta T is equal to 40. 60,000 calorie. So what is the power required? We convert calorie into joules divided by time. That's the power required. Time is 10 minutes. Power we equate to V square by R. We get the value of R. Okay. Shweta?
Yes, sir.
Are you paying attention?
Yes, sir.
You understood this?
Yes, sir, I understood.
Such kind of question you can solve without any error?
Yes, sir.
Good. The last test you have also not done too well, Shweta. You should have done better. Okay, a little bit. I think you should try and improve our performance. Okay, let's look at this. An electrical kettle has 2 coils. And only 1 coil is switched on. Just read the question, then we'll see how to go about solving this question. All of you read the question? See, what we find, there are certain questions which are on ratio. It ratio between what? It is 2 things we have to express ratio. Time T and R. So can we find, whenever you have to ratio, I think need to get an equation which is in terms of time and resistance. How do we get time and resistance equation? Because we know power into time. Is equal to Q. What we notice here, Q is constant. Heat energy is constant. Pranav Soma, why is heat energy Q constant here? Why I'm saying Q is constant here, Pranav? Pranav Soma. Why is Q constant? Is there anything question which clearly tells the Q is constant? Because we are heating same mass of water. Same amount of water when it is boiled in two conditions, will the heat supply not be same, Pranav Soman?
It will be same.
No, so we should have spotted the point or not?
Yes, sir, I should have.
No, so this is constant. So what does this mean? P into T is equal to constant. But for power also, Pranav, which term should I use? Which is constant? What is changing in two cases, first case, second case, and third case?
The resistance.
Resistance is changing. What is remaining constant? Voltage is remaining constant.
Yeah.
So basically it is V square, voltage is constant. So if voltage is constant, power I can write V square by R into T is equal to constant. So what is the relationship I get? What is time proportional to? Time will be proportional to resistance. Are you getting this, Pranav? Whatever time is resistance. That makes simple. All ratio calculation, we need to look at ratio between these two quantities. And once we establish, it becomes extremely easy to solve. Let's look at that. Now let's go about solving this question. First thing what you understand, this is something, this is heat dissipated is constant. This is constant. So time taken will be proportional to R. First case, we understand there are two coils. So first coil, we are undergoing this coil has resistance R1. And second coil has resistance R2. So T1 will be equal to K into R1, T2 will be equal to K into R2. Let's write this one. And when we connect them in series, what does TS indicate here? Time taken in series will be K into resistance in series. What is resistance in series? K into R1 plus R2. And what is KR1 and plus KR2? Time taken in series will be equal to T1 plus T2. Are you getting this point here? No.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, can you tell me what will be TP equal to, Pranav? What does TP imply here?
Time in parallel.
Time in parallel. What would that be proportional equal to? K times?
R1 R2 by R1 plus R2.
Perfect. That's what we need to do. And when we write R1 and R2 in terms of R1 and R2, I can write T1 by K and T2. It comes T1, T2 by T1 plus T2. That's the two equations given.
Sir?
Yes?
Sir, can't we take one as R and the other as 2R, sir?
We can do that, but that also comes after writing this equation.
I mean, like directly you can take the ratio of the series and parallel.
You can do that, but yes, but you can. But finally, see, but even there also, this is a starting point. How do we take 2R?
Yes, sir.
It comes from here only.
Yes, sir.
Then afterward you can solve the different ways. But have you understood? This is a common approach to solve questions involving ratio. Pranav, has you clearly understood? Just see that again. Is it clear?
It's clear, sir.
Shweta?
Sir.
Is it clear? Not
yes,
fully.
sir. Clear, sir.
Clear, no? And any question which has ratio kind of thing, similar approach you can solve quickly. And there are lengthier ways of also solving, and that takes more time. But this is something is very quick way you can solve. So, and many times people give us a formula. There's nothing to memorize here. Some books they give us a formula also. This parallel series. This is one such question. No need to memorize anything. Ratio is simple. We can easily calculate. You won't believe this is a question which had come in JEE Advanced. Let's see if you can solve it. It's a very simple question. So 4 cases we have to arrange in the increasing order of power. Which formula of power should I use here?
V square by R.
What is happening to you? Who is this person?
Vignesh.
Vignesh. Why should I use V square by R? Tell me, Vignesh. Give me one reason.
I mean, sorry, sir. There's a current as constant.
The current is common in all three. So what I notice, first thing what I notice in this case, I is same in all cases. That's the important point. Current is same in all cases. So power dissipation, which formula I'll use? I'll use I square R. And moment I use I is common, power is directly proportional to resistance. So power dissipation is proportional. So all I need to do, arrange in the increasing order of resistance. Whichever has higher resistance will have maximum power consumption, which is extremely easy to arrange. That was a question. Very easy to arrange. So which one? So easy. We can easily write this power. Of course, so this will be minimum. This will have maximum. This will have minimum power consumption, and this will have maximum. This is 3R. This is R by 3, and similarly, this 1.5R, and you can calculate. So we can arrange. So this also, I hope you find all of you. It's a pretty easy question to solve. Right? So this is what we have done about power consumption. We will do power consumption again later part of the this topic. So tomorrow we'll spend a little more time on battery and their combination. One battery, what happens, and multiple battery, and we'll also understand difference between EMF and terminal voltage tomorrow. So next 3 days we are going to spend time on questions involving battery and application of Kirchhoff loop rule to solve such questions. Okay, so I hope today's part most of you have understood well and practice few questions.